The 2026 BMW 7 Series arrives at a moment when the flagship luxury sedan segment is undergoing a quiet but significant transition. BMW did not rush this update, and that restraint is intentional. Rather than a full generational reset, the 2026 model year represents a carefully phased evolution of the current G70 generation, which first debuted in the early part of the decade. Development priorities appear to have focused on refining digital systems, improving powertrain efficiency, and responding to customer feedback around design and usability. There were no major delays publicly acknowledged, but the measured rollout reflects broader industry realities, including software validation timelines, supply chain normalization, and increasingly complex regulatory requirements across global markets. BMW's approach suggests the company is prioritizing stability and long-term quality over rapid visual change. In terms of pricing, the 2026 BMW 7 Series is expected to remain positioned firmly in the upper tier of the full-size luxury sedan market. In the United States, base pricing is likely to sit slightly above the outgoing model, reflecting inflation, added technology, and expanded standard equipment. European pricing will vary more widely depending on powertrain choice, particularly due to emissions-based taxation structures. In markets such as China and the Middle East, where demand for long-wheelbase luxury sedans remains strong, higher-spec variants will continue to represent the majority of sales. While the 7 Series is not designed to be affordable in absolute terms, BMW aims to present it as a value-driven alternative within its segment, balancing performance, technology, and perceived quality against key rivals from Mercedes-Benz and Audi. The BMW 7 Series has long served as a technological and philosophical statement for the brand. Historically, it has introduced features that later filtered down to smaller models, from early navigation systems to advanced driver assistance technologies. Reliability and durability have been mixed talking points over the decades, particularly as complexity increased, but BMW has worked to improve long-term ownership experiences through modular electronics and improved software support. The 2026 model continues this role as a testbed for the brand's latest thinking, while also reinforcing BMW's identity as a manufacturer that prioritizes driver engagement even in its largest and most comfort-oriented vehicles. Underneath the bodywork, the 2026 BMW 7 Series continues to use the CLAR platform, BMW's modular architecture designed to support internal combustion, plug-in hybrid, and fully electric powertrains. This platform flexibility is critical for global relevance, as different markets move toward electrification at different speeds. From a real-world perspective, CLAR allows BMW to maintain structural rigidity while managing weight through the use of aluminum, high-strength steel, and selective composite materials. It also enables consistent driving dynamics across variants, ensuring that even the heaviest configurations retain predictable handling characteristics. The exterior design of the 2026 7 Series remains visually assertive, and BMW has shown no intention of retreating from this direction. The large upright kidney grille continues to define the front fascia, paired with split headlamp elements that emphasize width and presence. Proportions are intentionally formal, with a long hood, a strong shoulder line, and a relatively upright rear profile. Rather than drawing inspiration from traditional sports sedans, the design language leans toward modern luxury architecture, favoring clean surfaces and bold geometric forms. Subtle refinements for 2026 are expected to focus on lighting signatures, wheel designs, and trim details rather than major structural changes. In terms of size, the BMW 7 Series remains one of the largest sedans in its class. Overall length continues to exceed 5 meters, placing it in direct competition with the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and Audi A8. Width and wheelbase figures reinforce interior space, particularly in the rear seats, which are a priority in chauffeur-driven markets. Compared to its rivals, the 7 Series offers a slightly more athletic stance, though the differences are marginal and largely philosophical rather than dimensional. The long wheelbase variant, offered in select regions, further emphasizes rear seat comfort and legroom without significantly altering the car's external proportions. Powertrain options for the 2026 BMW 7 Series vary by market, but continue to reflect a broad approach. Turbocharged inline-six engines remain the backbone of the lineup, offering a balance of smoothness, efficiency, and sufficient performance for daily use. V8 options are expected to persist in select markets, though with increased electrification support to meet emissions targets. These higher output variants deliver strong acceleration and effortless highway performance. Paired with BMW's well-established 8-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive remains standard or widely available, depending on region, enhancing traction and stability in varied driving conditions. Electrification plays an increasingly important role in the 7 Series strategy. Plug-in hybrid variants are expected to continue, offering limited all-electric driving capability for urban use while retaining long-distance flexibility. These models are particularly relevant in Europe and parts of Asia, where regulatory incentives favor lower emissions vehicles. The fully electric BMW i7, while technically a separate model line, remains closely tied to the 7 Series identity and influences the broader range in terms of technology and interior features. This multi-powertrain approach allows BMW to adapt quickly to changing regulations without forcing a single solution across all markets. Inside the 2026 BMW 7 Series continues to emphasize a digital-first environment. Large displays dominate the dashboard, integrating infotainment, vehicle settings, and driver assistance functions into a unified interface. Material quality remains high, with extensive use of leather, wood, metal, and ambient lighting to create a controlled and subdued atmosphere. Rear seat accommodations are a major focus, particularly with optional executive seating packages that include reclining functions, dedicated displays, and enhanced sound insulation. Rather than chasing novelty, BMW appears focused on improving usability and system responsiveness based on customer feedback. As part of BMW's global lineup, the 2026 7 Series occupies a clear and deliberate role. It sits at the top of the conventional sedan range, above the 5 Series, and alongside the i7 as a parallel expression of luxury. This is a vehicle designed for buyers who value comfort, technology, and brand heritage, but who may still want a degree of driving involvement. It appeals equally to owner-drivers and those who prefer to be chauffeured, depending on configuration and market. In a segment increasingly pressured by SUVs and electrification, the 2026 BMW 7 Series represents BMW's continued belief that the flagship sedan still has a meaningful place in the global luxury landscape.